You are listening to Rouge Radio, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
It's time to get the point as Rouge Radio is ready to kick off.
Ready!
The best football talk with the best in the business.
So what is the cost? You have 2 first-round picks this year because the Argos are dumb enough to trade for Drew Willie.
A few rookies.
We go directly to the on-field product. We welcome to the show the 20th overall pick in this past Sunday's CFL draft, DeAndre Wright of the Alouettes. DeAndre, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
And the occasional Hall of Famer.
Please welcome Doug Brown, who is one of the members of the current class of 2016 in the CFL Hall of Fame. Doug, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you guys for the kind words and for having me on the program.
Rouge Radio is on the air. Here's your hosts, Robert Dalton and Tony Allen.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Rouge Radio podcast, powered by the Canadian Football Podcast Network. My name is Robert Dalton. This is episode 529, powered by the Canadian Football Podcast Network. Sorry, my brain's going like miles a minute because I am just battling the odd July cold. So I can't yell, can't talk that much. There was a part of me that was like thinking, okay, should I just do like the entire show with sound effects? Like
should I talk like this for the entire show?
And bring your voice back up?
Yeah, and bring it back up, yeah.
Or that I could talk like this. Then I started talking like this in real life, and I was like, thinking about
that sounds even sicker.
Yeah.
That sounds like you're even more sick.
Or it makes me sound like Barry White.
from The Simpsons. Can't get enough
of your love, babe.
Barry White.
All right.
Leave the snakes alone.
There we go. And of course, before what's left for the introduction is to my brother from a different mother, Mr. Tony Allen. Tony, how's it going?
No, it's going very good. Very good. Right in the old, I don't think we're quite in the dog days of summer yet, but we're starting to kick off the nasty, nasty days of summer. That part of summer where I just give up on trying to keep my lawn green and let it die, or it would cost me a fortune just to water it.
Well, who you don't want to listen to that statement is one of our listeners, Joe Velineski.
Yeah,
he's the lawn care extraordinaire, and he would hate you if you found out that there was an option to let your lawn turn.
Oh yeah, I just let her go. Except the big green patch where our water parks run in the backyard. We have one of those giant Costco water climbing mountain monstrosities. It's like 10 feet tall and like a giant inflatable water slide. It's unbelievable.
I just finished doing my holidays, my 2 weeks holidays off of work, and come back, and boom, my right calf is swollen, like really like bad. So I thought it was like blood clots. Went to the hospital yesterday, and it turns out it's just muscle swelling. And it's actually gone down significantly today. Not that anybody cares, but then lo and behold, now I have a cold. So, did I really?
Honestly, I thought you were going to say it was a tick. I was like, ooh, he's going to tell us he's got a tick buried in his leg or something crazy.
Not that I know of. I don't go outside that often now.
Okay.
If it's not to a Bomber game, like my life, summers are like completely really busy for me right now. Like they've always been busy, so I have no time to go out to cottages, lake country, beaches, and whatnot. My mom lives if you're in Manitoba, you would know where Lake Winnipeg is, or Winnipeg Beach. It's about an hour north of Winnipeg, and she invited me up there, and I was like, yeah, there's like summer long is like as far as before my kids go back to school. It's like 2 months. I have no time whatsoever to make that trek back and forth. It's just not going to happen unless things kind of like slow down throughout the summer. But before we go forward into the podcast, let's go to the booth announcer here, what makes it a little bit easier on my voice.
Rouge Radio is sponsored by the good people over at Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, enter the promo code Rouge. and your order will be discounted up to 20% as well as free worldwide shipping. Go to Manscaped. Your balls will thank you.
And our booth announcer sounds like she's got a cold there too. That's kind of amazing. It's just kind of like a Winnipeg thing right now.
It's funny. You just, for some reason, because I get sidetracked easily. You're just talking about, you live in Winnipeg, going out to Lake Winnipeg on Winnipeg Beach, and I kind of chuckled a bit because there's an early 2000s cartoon that used to come on. Teletoon was the station at late at night. It was Teletoon After Dark or whatever. So the beginning of your Adult Swim kind of cartoons is called Clone High.
Oh, yeah.
And when you said that, it just reminded me of a funny episode where Ashley O of O-Town, again in the early 2000 boy band O-Town, was hosting spring break on MTV from the sunny beaches of Canada. So for some reason, it was called Winnipeg Beach and Lake Winnipeg near Winnipeg. It's just, for some reason, that triggered being in Canada at the sunny beaches of Canada for spring break in Canada with Ashley of O-Town. It's just, it triggered that memory, and maybe I made someone happy by making them remember Clone High if they forgot Clone High.
The Cartoon Network around that time, Friday nights were just awesome. What was it? Undergrads?
Undergrads was another brilliant one.
Or whatever. I'd love to do Cal's voice right now, but I can't do any high-pitched voice right now. Hey, guy. No, that just doesn't work that way. Maybe if I could do it with a sound effect. Hey, the CFL made someone a millionaire last week, and it wasn't one of their players. Like, of all places, if you're new to the to the sport, to the CFL, TSN, CFL, and Save on Foods have this promotion where one touchdown return or kick return for a touchdown, not a punt return, but a kick return for a touchdown. I don't know the value of it. It might be, I'd have to Google it, but you get like free groceries for a year. Well, yeah, it's just, I think it's just groceries for a year. It just doesn't have a value on it. And if a second kickoff return it goes for a touchdown, then someone lucky winner gets $1 million. Anyway, this is a big deal because this almost happened 8 years ago, and everybody remembers the whole game between Toronto and Winnipeg back in 2017. Ryan Langford, opening kickoff, boom, touchdown. Martese Jackson, remember him? There's your unceremonious name drop. Martese Jackson returns a kickoff return for a touchdown. Boom, referee says, no, we've got an holding, we got an illegal block, and some poor chick, I believe her name was Karen, lost out on $1 million. But she got groceries, and she got a trip to the Grey Cup.
I think I lost several followers on Twitter for making jokes because I think the hashtag was
"What about Karen?"
Something about what about?
Yeah, what about?
And Karen? So I started tweeting about why she doesn't deserve the $1 million, and people didn't find that funny. I ended up losing quite a bit of followers because of my attempt at humor to make fun of whatever was popular at the moment.
So Roy Lester. Lister, I believe that's how his name, from New Westminster in British Columbia, is your lucky winner, pending a skill testing question.
Of course,
Tony, I ask you, what do you think that skill testing question is? I laid it out online, and I said, wouldn't it be funny if the skill testing question was who was the 13th man in the 2009 Grey Cup?
Yeah, no, it won't be like the skill testing question based on any skill testing questions I've had to answer in the past. It's going to be like 30 times 2 divided by 5 plus 4 or something like that. Although I don't even know if you can actually do that math at all. Like, I don't know if that's actually an answer. I was just making something up in it, but it literally is like a mathematical skill testing question.
And based off a lot of Facebook memes, I think that is a highly tested skill testing question, because there's a lot of people who like maybe skipped 8th grade math.
Yeah.
And once they completed 8th grade math, they were like, "We're done. Let's just
You just
do
have to
science
look
now."
around the world and seeing what people believe these days.
Yeah.
The best way to rig a contest to make sure you don't have to pay it out is a skill testing question. So
Based on that, what is there an actual CFL? Is there an actual CFL question that like what would be the most apropos CFL type trivia question that one could ask outside of the 13th man?
Interesting. Yeah, but that's like, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know who the 13th man was. That's like one of those things. It's like everyone knows the moment, but nobody knows. I don't know who it was. I honestly, and I was even at the game, and I don't remember who the 13th man was that day. But you'd have to get me to think about it, because there's got to be a question out there that's like that would make you say who was traded for something, who was the receiver that someone threw to break a record, and it would have an answer like, what, really? Like, like it just a weird question.
I don't know why, but you said something that was like triggered like one of those what if kind of things. Did you know Nick Arbuckle, when he was a member of the Calgary Stampeders, there's a little domino effect. Once his rights were traded to Ottawa, I believe, after the 2019 season, that had a domino effect that ended up with BC getting the selection that they used to select Nathan Rourke, which is kind of cool. And it ended up with the Toronto Argonauts getting Chad Kelly.
Wow.
So like this whole, just one little measly little trade for someone's rights had so many. This is like one of those trade trees that I need to do.
Yeah.
I need to get back.
Do you know what Canadian Football League quarterback did the throwing stunts for Jamie Foxx on any given Sunday?
I want to say like maybe Michael Bishop.
Nope.
Because aren't they like related somehow? Michael Bishop and Jamie Foxx, but I know that Robert Gordon was in that movie. He was an extra.
Yeah.
Good old Bobby.
I'll tell you, the quarterback stand-in for the deep ball throws, I think the team in the movie was the Miami Sharks. That was the 4th team he turned around.
Henry Burris.
And it was Henry Burris was the was the quarterback stand-in to throw the footballs in place of Jamie Foxx.
Oh, shooting star. The more
so the Stampeders, the Rough Riders, the Red Blacks, and the Miami Sharks.
It's too bad
he never turned around by Henry Burris.
The one team he couldn't turn around, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you really paid attention to social media this week.
Yeah.
Good friend of social media, Luke Wilson, was at it again. He ranked Hamilton sports fans as last amongst all sports fans. Now, in his defense, his initial tweet was, I guess it could have insinuated, but his initial tweet was like, "Hey, I'm surprised. You've got a good team. You've got a generational talent in Kenny Lawler. Why aren't the Hamilton Tiger Cats traveling, or the fans traveling to BMO Field to watch their team play a provincial rival?" And it's a fair question. It really is. If it's worded that way, it's a fair question. And I think that it might be, the way that he worded it that really spun things, way off course. But yeah, it just, you're a Hamilton Tiger Cat fan. Do you take that personal? I mean, I know that Hamilton was your secondary team.
Yeah, no, and honestly, again, I never read the tweet, but I mean, the guy lacks all tact. So, I mean, if he was doing it to bait and you fell for it, that's your own fault. Like, I mean, the guy, to me, it took this guy like 4 weeks for his shtick to get old. Like, I think it was 4 weeks ago I talked to him. I'm like, this guy's just he's absolutely nuclear right now when it comes to attention with the CFL. But he's like, and then I found it took like 4 weeks of his nonsense for me to go from like, well, I'll play it out. He's different. I was willing to listen to him and have him on the show, to just absolutely played out. Like his shtick got so old so fast. And it was one thing if you try to be edgy, but now you're just trying way too hard to be edgy. It's one thing if you have over the top opinions, like but you're just too obviously you're trying to play a character and not be legit. Like I feel like when I first started here, I was probably pretty you either hated me or you enjoyed my rants. I've cooled off so much since our first first couple of seasons. But even then, my rants were based on passion, and if they crossed the line, they were coming from a genuine place. He's just playing a character now, and it's the point where I can't even believe he believes what he posts. He's just doing it to bait people. And so, first off, if it's not him, then yes, I say that's a very fair question. I don't know about generational talent, but they've got some pretty good there in Kenny Lawler. I mean, but to imply that they should be traveling for that team, I don't think so. You can travel if you want to, and you might have a case for you're right there and you should be able to travel.
Yeah,
but to imply that there's a team there worth traveling for, no.
I think the wording really needed to have some work done, because I mean, on the flip side, CFL fans in the past on social media have shown to have the very thinnest of skin. Cough, cough, Boomer Esiason. Anybody remembers that from 5 years ago during COVID? Before we go on to previewing Week 6 of the CFL season, some suspensions, and maybe I want to get your touch on your thoughts on this. BC defensive lineman Kimoko Ture has suspended for 1 game, committing a non-football act. We'll get on that one too as well. Montreal defensive lineman Isaac Adami Berglund and MJ Sherman have been fined for that same act. Montreal offensive lineman Pierre-Olivier Lestage has been fined for making inappropriate contact with a TSN camera operator. Won't really care about that one. And of course, Ottawa linebacker Frankie Griffin has been fined for delivering a high hit on Edmonton quarterback Trey Ford. Those two first supplementary disciplines. First, one is suspension, one's a fine. But this stems, obviously, you as a player, as a professional player, you need to control your own, temper. But why the hell are we still having 2 teams on the same sideline, and it only happens in the Eastern Division? Like, why? How is it in 2025? Are we still doing this? Is there absolutely no room across the field? Like, someone said advertising. You can advertise the same as you were. You could have that advertising money. You can have that you can have those banners. Like, the NHL has spent millions on having digital advertisements. TSN could probably get some access to that to do that. And if you're worried about, advertising in stadium, well, then it doesn't really matter if it's only on one side. So, I mean, I don't get it. To me, it just seems so lame. And whenever there is a scuffle on the sidelines, it's always in the Eastern Division, because of the fact is we've got 2 teams on the same sideline. Remember that one time Jerron Carter, I can't remember if he caught a pass, but he's walking on the sidelines, and he did that prototypical high school kid with the shoulder. Like, he's got his shoulders up, his arms spread like he's Mr. Heavy bodybuilder or whatever, and just kind of shoulder checks Rick Campbell, which he shouldn't be doing. But Rick Campbell gives the whole 10.3 on the diving scale.
Yeah. And Campbell was a good 1.5 2 feet onto the field. Campbell wanted that interaction as bad as Deron Carter did. Like, here's the thing, because you said you want to. Here's the thing. The argument is correct why you don't need to have both teams on the same side of the field. That's a legit argument, and yes, just for space-wise, for whatever, there's no surely you can have them on each side of the field, and if not, make some sort of adjustments to allow the other team to fit on the other side. Is it causing the fights? I don't know, and I don't think so. I don't think, from what I saw in the video that I could find of it, to watch it back because I missed it in real time, everyone was everywhere on the field. Nobody was fighting. It was your classic, everybody on the field, handshakes, good games, East or West, that happens every game. Both players for both teams circled around midfield, praying, interactions, and this happened way off in a corridor. Maybe because they have to leave the same corridor to get out, but either way. But look at McMahon Stadium. They're not on the same field, but for whatever, you've got the west side for the visiting team coming out the east side doors, and the west side doors, the Stampeders coming out to go to the east side. Like, they cross one of our favorite moments in CFL history is the interview, the live throwdown with the guy yelling from the BC Lions, yelling at a Calgary Stampeder player. And we thought that was magical, but it's still an interaction. But they're still crossing, and these guys are going to fight no matter what. That's what to imply that having teams on the same side, you're asking for it. It's kind of like saying, if you don't want pretty girls at football games to get harassed, tell them not to dress pretty. You can't blame them you can't say football players they disrespect each other. They have no respect in the game. They get emotional and they fight. And when you put them on the same, it's your fault for doing that.
Yeah.
No, like, you should be allowed to put two professional athletes on the same side of the field, not thinking it's going to be a brawl, and then blaming it on just that for existing, for football players being the same way. So
I completely agree with you.
It doesn't need to be on the same side. That, for me, that's just not a good use of space. But would it stop that? No, I don't think for a second, because that didn't even start because both teams were right beside each other. Like, you see more fights in hockey with guys, the poor guy between the two benches. Hockey has teams on the same side. I mean, they still get at each other. It's like, we did that on purpose to get teams on the same side. NHL is never going to get rid of teams on the same side of the rink because the penalty box go on the other side. But in the 80s, teams were on opposite sides of the rink from each other. So I don't know.
No,
I don't know what the right answer is. That's how I see it, though.
No, that's certainly fine. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I still think it's pretty stupid to have it. But no, you're right. It's not the reason. And I like the analogy in regarding to the harassment there. In this aspect, though, it's kind of like a, playing. What the analogy is, like, you're playing cats and dogs. It's like, these two animals don't go at it, right? It's like they're not going to attack each other outside of this little cage, but yeah, we're just going to put them in their cage, and they're like, natural instincts kind of kick in, right? I mean, like, to me, it's like, it's preventable. And it definitely does need to be changed because it is a bad look for the league, especially the division. But you're bang on. It's like, it's not the main causation of
when temptation, like when emotions boil over, it happens. Like, there's been CFL fights on the field, on the sidelines, in locker rooms. Like once the emotion takes over, it doesn't matter where you put them. It's just whatever the emotion is, wherever they can find a reason to go after each other, they're going to do it.
If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. Remember Lucky Whitehead and Cam Judge? I think it was a few years ago. It was after the game, and I think it was just, or maybe it was in halftime. I can't remember, but they got into it. But yeah, the most famous one was Solomon Elimimian after the game. I believe it was.
Or the infamous AJ Gas helmet toss. Was it AJ Gas?
It was AJ
that
Gas.
Launched?
Yeah.
The infamous AJ Gas. Even as a Stampeders fan, I got to admit that was hilarious. Even if you want to say it was like intense, like I thought it was hilarious because like, how bad do you have to snap for him to just launch that bucket?
Yeah, he threw it longer than probably any quarterback for the Edmonton Elks that year. Oh, maybe it might have been Ricky Ray, but Ricky Ray, he liked to use those. But anyway, that's a conversation for a different time.
Yeah, we're trailing off. Now I feel like we're going down that road of reminiscing of all the ridiculous things we've seen because I could have gone off as soon as Ricky Ray, the man could throw for 6,000 yards in a season and have 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, the ridiculousness of it is that they would always be like 7-yard passes, and they weren't like slants. They weren't like just all like hook and ladders and whatnot, but they would always be like 7 to 10 yards, and they'd be long play, like those long drives. Not once did he was like, okay, I'm just going to throw it 30 yards over and over and over again. They were constantly 7 to 10 yards, and I think he got a lot of credit for it. But again,
he got a hell of a trophy room for doing it. So
yeah,
if it works.
If it works, yeah, definitely. He's got a few great cups and a few MVPs out of it. Let's go to week 6 of the preview. Let's go to the booth announcer.
Rouge Radio is partnered with the good people over at Sports Interaction. Go to SIA.com/Rouge. Your first deposit is matched up to 100%. And as always, Tony and Dalts say, please play and gamble responsibly.
Gentlemen? All right, thank you. The first game of the week happens tomorrow as we are recording Thursday, July 10th, July 11th on Friday. Calgary Stampeders in Saskatchewan to play the Rough Riders. This is a battle of first place. A win by the Riders gets them a little bit further away from Calgary and even further away from Winnipeg. Saskatchewan is favored by 5.5 points. The over-under is 53.5. Tony, your favorite quarterback is back. Trevor Harris. He is back, and he stresses that he's going to be better than okay. Where do you see this one going?
Well, what better okay for him? But
yeah,
I mean, I guess this is the first of their 14 consecutive losses I need to make my preseason prediction. But no, and I make that joke to make fun of myself. Like I could not have missed the mark anymore on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So whatever. Now we're going to have an entertaining Western Division, and I like the Saskatchewan Roughriders over the Calgary Stampeders. I don't know how much credit I give to that win over Winnipeg because I don't even know as a Stampeders fan other than just loving every moment of it and not because it's the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, just because a team of Winnipeg's caliber and, I mean, all of Calgary's scoring showed up. So, but I don't know where the hell it came from, and I don't even know if I can logic it out. Like I texted you, I'm like, the only thing I could text you the whole game is like, make this make sense because this is outrageous. And when I text you, I think it was already like 23-3 or something, like asinine. But I don't think they can do it again against the Riders in Saskatchewan because I think the Riders are just hitting on all cylinders. And if Trevor Harris is going to have a fantastic year, MOP year, maybe too early to talk about that, but I mean, that's what's going to happen. So I'm taking the Saskatchewan Roughriders right now under my own mantra of till they lose, I got to pick them. So undefeated, I'll take Saskatchewan Roughriders 28-17.
Yeah, I'm with you on the I'm not too sure how much credit I'm leaning in on that win last week over Winnipeg for Calgary. And it's not that they played bad or that they didn't play as good. I give them full merit for them playing better.
Yeah, credit for the win.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to read too much into it for what it
You know
was.
what it is? You know what it is? It's the last 4 years that's really done it. It's like this game could be the predecessor. That game could be the predecessor for like a 13 game winning streak for Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if the maths out. If they end up winning,
Mm-hmm.
it might actually do that, but it might be the predecessor of them going on like a 13 or 14 game winning streak. But when you look at the last couple of years with the way that that Stampeders organization has been run, you're like, okay, that might be an aberration, right? Winnipeg, obviously, when they come back from their bye to host Calgary, it might be a different story. But in this case, I think Calgary has proven to be better than what I thought. I'm just not convinced that they are that much better. But
well, here, sorry to interrupt you, but it just popped in my head. It's like when I tell you that the Calgary Stampeders are a 3-1 football team this year, does that even feel right? Like,
no.
Does it feel like they're like, if you like, again, I know, but it's like, even if you're following, like, did you know the Calgary Stampeders are 3-1? You're like, what? They are? Like, I know they won a couple, but really, they could be tied for first after this.
Yeah.
That doesn't even feel right.
No.
Saskatchewan feels like a 4-0 team, but Calgary, I'm like, they're 3-1. What? I thought they lost more than that.
Yeah, it's funny is that like these are two teams that are top of the West, but it doesn't feel like that they should be in the top of the West. You know what I mean? Like Saskatchewan does. Like Saskatchewan has played really well and probably better than the other 4 teams in the West.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at their wins, it was a walk-off kick return against Toronto, playing in Hamilton when Hamilton hasn't figured it out. A revamped secondary against Ottawa, and then of course Jeremiah Mazzoli, who doing I don't know what he was doing again as a member of the Lions. So, I mean, granted that one win was a rout, and it was the only one where it was like very concise, where it was a very decisively won game by Saskatchewan. I'm just not convinced that these two teams are where they should be.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are, right? So it's like what's gonna bend and break sooner? And at this point, because of the way that Saskatchewan's defense does operate, it's very opportunistic. I wouldn't be surprised to see Vernon Adams Jr. throw for 300 yards and 3 interceptions and 1 touchdown. Like there's a huge part of me that says Calgary's going to come in here and win this one on the last second field goal. But my gut, sometimes that might just be like indigestion. My brain actually says Saskatchewan wins this one. I think Calgary covers the spread. But gun to the head, I'm picking Saskatchewan to win this one.
You know, it's funny. Last week, I picked a 35-17 win for Winnipeg, and it was a 37-16 win for Calgary. So I got close on the numbers, just the wrong team.
Yeah. Next game is the Ottawa Redblacks in the Hamilton to play the Tiger Cats. And one thing that's happened this year is when you beat the Toronto Argonauts, or when you have a game that just against Toronto, you play the complete opposite the next game. So I think with this being said, it would not surprise me. Drew Brown got into his rhythm in the latter stages of the fourth quarter against Edmonton. That could be garbage time. I don't think it was, as this game was still within reach. But he found his rhythm. He's gonna have a full week of practice. Hamilton's defense still not sold on it. I really think Hamilton's defense plays well within a certain restraint. And I think this matchup favors Ottawa's offense, and that's the reason why I'm going with Ottawa on this one. My voice sucks right now. I gotta end it because I can't maintain this energy.
All right, let's get through these 2 scores then.
Ottawa wins this one 25-19 over the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Tony.
All right, I'll try and get through this quickly. I like Ottawa's performance last week, despite the loss in Edmonton. Ottawa can still put points on the board. Hamilton put points on the board, but they also gave up almost 40 points against them. If you can score 38 points and lose a football game, there's something not right going on there. And I don't think Hamilton's prepared to take on a better challenge in Ottawa's defense with the offense to match. So I like Ottawa as well, 27-16.
Perfect. Last game of the week, the BC Lions are in Edmonton. Speaking of the Elks, to play the Eskimos, or the Elks. BC is favored by 2.5 points. The over-under is set at 51.5. Nathan Rourke has been noted as having limited reps in practice. I don't know if that has anything to do with, if he'll eventually start. For BC's, for their fans, I hope he does, because if Jeremiah Mazzoli plays, it might be game over pretty quick. But under the assumption that Nathan Rourke is starting, Tony, where do you see this one going?
I'm going to give this one to Edmonton.
Oh, wow.
Not so much because I'm saying that win over Ottawa was what Edmonton needed to get back on track, and they're starting to cruise. But there's a lot of smoke and mirrors around BC's win over Montreal. Dramatic, yes. To me, maybe a little bit of controversy about what happened with the play clock at the end. Facts are facts. They said BC had some time left, but whatever. So I think at home, I'm going to take the Elks again to see what happens, but I don't want to imply that I'm back on the Elks hype wagon, because
they're still
I don't think they are back. I don't think they're back, but I think BC might lose this one more than Edmonton wins it.
I've got BC winning this one, and it's not because I think it's more Edmonton losing this one. The thing about this one is what really worked well for Edmonton last week was their running game. And we'll talk more about Justin Rankin, because he alone saved my fantasy team in the CFPN Fantasy League. But Jordan McSimic, play caller, does not normally run the ball as much or that consistently. So I think you might see more of a pocket passer, Trey Ford, in this game, which plays well into the secondary of the BC Lions. If Edmonton decides, hey, we need to run the ball, that game is over pretty quick, because BC's run defense is pretty suspect, or pretty sus, as the kids say. I might again, this goes back to the first game. My gut says BC, but at the end of the day, I think gun to the head now, I might be kind of talking myself into Edmonton winning this one. Edmonton might win this one 29-20.
That's not where I was going after the reaction you had to my pick of the Elks, where you went for all I hear is the Elks. Whoa.
Yeah.
2. Yeah, I'm gonna take them 2.
No, I was like, as I was talking, I kind of like in my mind was decompartmentalizing everything in there. I was like, okay, I think I just mentally talked myself into picking the Elks, and I don't want to. One of my buddies from work, he's in those pool trackers, right? Like, we used to run the pool tracker. And he texted me, he's like, hey, what do you think? And legit, I said, all the visiting teams. Saskatchewan, I'm not really too convinced that they'll lose, so maybe pick them with the confidence 1. And now I'm like, as I'm listening to myself relay this information, I'm like, I might have screwed them over. Well, that'll do it for this week's podcast. Man, I can't wait to go to sleep tonight. Canadian Football Podcast Network has their fantasy league. I eked out a 1.5 point win over Travis Kerr of the 2 and Out podcast. You know what it was? I think everybody had Zach Claros on their fantasy team, and I had him as my captain, and thank God he got me 26 points, which means the captain doubled your points, and you knowing how bad his statistics were, alone before, minus being the captain, meant that he had like 13 points. Justin Rankin on his 2 touchdowns and his 100-plus yard game got me what I had needed to come out with the win. So thank you, Justin Rankin. Tony, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just can't believe it's week 6 already. Yeah. This is ridiculous. That's a quarter mark of the season. Like, unbelievable. Good season so far. Lots of fun storylines. Lots of different. The West, not how I saw it shaping up. So that's a lot more fun to see the Stampeders where they are and actually just seeing, with just a quarter of the games played, a bit of a changing of the guard in the West here. So it's interesting to see how it plays out for the last 3 quarters of the season.
Oh, definitely. Anyway, well, that'll wrap it up for episode 529. For Tony, I'm Dalts. Thanks for listening. Well, we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.